Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are diving into monster-in-laws, specifically how they ruined weddings and how insane they are. I need to blow off some steam and just channel my anger towards something, so I figured this would be a good theme for today's podcast episode. So if you have your own mother-in-law stories, don't forget to comment it down below if you are on a platform where you can do that. Before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a rating and review. It takes about 0.2 seconds, is 100% free, and means more than the world to me. It means the entire universe. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. My future mother-in-law and brother-in-law are going to ruin my elopement/wedding. 27 female, marrying my partner of 4 years who is a 26 male, for health insurance reasons because marriage doesn't mean a whole lot to us otherwise. Fair enough. There are people like that out there. I'm someone who's dreamed of having a magic fairy tale wedding my entire life, but I also understand that not everybody is like that. We are inviting 10 people to our elopement wedding thingy in November on a weekday. We are having a friend officiate a 5-minute ceremony, go to lunch, and ta-da, that's it.
Okay, I like it, Picasso.
My family took the news well. My partner's family just doesn't get it. My mother-in-law wants it to be a big wedding, and we already told her no. Now she is trying to make the lunch, quote-unquote, fancy, and she wants to call the restaurant to make it a reception. I don't even think most restaurants will do that, but anyway. I'm like, no, that is not the point. My brother-in-law is saying how my partner doesn't care about him anymore and that he never visits. My brother-in-law is 30 and lives 2 hours away. All of this is just a nightmare. My partner sighed and looked at me last night just saying, we should have eloped by ourselves randomly because F this. And I agree. I'm over all of this. Can't I just get married and be done?
Oh my goodness, I love this question!
Yes. I think that you can. Especially if, your family is understanding and doesn't care. It's totally fine to go elope, just the two of you with, a witness. And then you can have a lunch with your family if you want. And then just, not tell. Well, I guess you could tell them, but, they're going to see it on Facebook if you don't tell them. So you probably should tell them. But I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I think that that's the point here, is free will exists. You don't want to invite them? Don't invite them. You don't want anybody to be there when you get eloped? Is that the proper term? Get eloped? I don't know. Are eloped? I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. As long as you have a witness and it's, you legally do the thing, then you're good. You're legally married. You can do your health insurance things. You can be married. You can do whatever. You don't have to invite everybody, especially if who you're inviting sucks and it doesn't understand how boundaries work. Ex-mother-in-law wore white and cried the whole reception. I got on with her okay, but she always liked to be the center of attention. I think it only worked because I didn't care and sort of found it amusing most of the time. Except on my wedding day. Her wearing a white cocktail dress didn't bother me too much, but she got drunk immediately after the ceremony and then missed the dinner because she was crying in the lobby that her baby had just got married and her husband is going to die soon and she'll be all alone. She kept having people come out to comfort her because you could hear the wailing. That's embarrassing for her. Her husband is still alive and kicking 12 years later. He was never sick anyway. And luckily, I'm divorced now, so she can have her baby back too. That's crazy. That's crazy work. But just standing outside of the wedding and crying, insane. Insane work from the mother-in-law. Mother-in-law's speech was a rule book for the bride from the 1910s. So a few years ago, I went to a wedding with my then boyfriend for an old friend of his. I didn't know the bride and groom too well outside of other weddings we'd been to, but I liked them both very much. Even though I went to the same Catholic school as the bride, I didn't know she was a practicing Catholic. Most of us who went to the school are now very firm atheists. I said therm? Most of us who went to the school are now very therm. I've said therm twice now. I can't. Most of us who went to the school are now very firm atheists. I was surprised the wedding ceremony was super traditionally Catholic, but didn't think much of it as I know many people want a traditional church wedding and just go along with all the vows and promises to raise your children Catholic, etc. And the parents probably. I know a lot of people who are Catholic and they're not practicing Catholic, but they consider themselves Catholic, but their parents raised them Catholic. They're extremely religious, and they want them to get married the traditional Catholic way, which is a lot compared to, like, Christian, I feel like. But they do it because that's what their parents want, and a lot of times their parents are probably paying for the wedding, because more often than not, if you went to a Catholic school, you probably, or your parents probably have a lot of money. So that's usually how it works around these parts. The reception was really sweet and a lot of fun until it came to the speeches, specifically the mother-in-laws. It started off with her welcoming the bride to the family and how they shared so many values, but then it took a very weird turn. She pulled out this tiny vintage book proclaiming it was her grandmother's and one of the only things she saved when fleeing her home in the midst of World War II. The rest of the speech was her reading from the book, which is essentially a rule book for wives on how to treat their husband, including ways to take care of him like he was a child, putting out his clothes, catering to all his needs, etc., and such gems as if he is stressed and takes it out on you, don't fight back or even bring it up because it will just increase his stress. What about my stress? What about my heart rate, bestie? Because just reading that sentence brought up my cortisol. Let's continue. She read this with zero hint of irony or humor for a full 20 minutes. All of us in our friend group sat there flabbergasted and unsure whether we should laugh or cry for our friend the bride. Get the getaway car.
I'm gonna go. Ah!
The money in the bag and I stole the keys. That was the last time you ever.
After she finished reading, she just said, "I hope this serves you well," and handed the book to the bride, who looked equally stunned. It was such an awkward silence. Even when the mother-in-law raised her glass to the bride and groom, a lot of people were only quietly raising their glasses. The couple is still married and very happy and probably not following the book. I would assume not. Like, can you guys hear those cicadas? I'm so sorry if you can hear them. I did not realize they were this loud. This would all depend on how the husband reacts. Like, if they were there and he would have been like, yeah, that's how you should treat me, and like standing behind the mother-in-law, that's when we get the getaway car. The fact that he didn't is definitely why they're still married. Like, she definitely brought that up. That was definitely a conversation they had. Probably before they even left. Or they knew it was coming and they knew she was crazy, and like they were just like, if this happens, we are just going to mind our own business. And, you know, she's crazy. Anything she says can't be held against me. Mother-in-law leaves reception to get a special meal for a guest, misses the best man speech, and gets mad at us. So a couple of years ago, I married my husband. We are over 40 and established, so we paid for everything ourselves. We just wanted a nice, chill night to celebrate with our friends and family. Because our venue was relatively small in the evening and we had an open bar, we asked that it be child-free. Nothing against kids, we really just needed the space for other guests and didn't feel this was really an occasion they were going to enjoy. Anyway, my mother-in-law decides that father-in-law's stepsister, who has 2 young children, will be the exception and tells us so. In the interest of keeping the peace, we didn't object, despite the fact that we paid $65 a plate regardless of whether they eat, and the younger daughter is a notoriously picky eater, being 6 years old. I figured, you don't get married every day, what the heck, let her come and eat hot dogs out of mom's purse, whatever. So the wedding happens, the reception dinner is in full swing, and it comes to my attention that mom has not bothered to pack purse hot dogs. So who swoops in to help? My mother-in-law. She leaves in the middle of the reception to go get food for this kid, not her kid, because, as usual, she is always doing the most. Okay, fine with me. I'm enjoying myself regardless. Eventually, my husband's brother, aka the best man, decides it is time for his speech and makes it happen. I guess mother-in-law hadn't come back because when she does return, she's super pissed that she missed it. At us. She ignored us for weeks after for a situation she created. No hot dog mom got off scot-free except for making some faces every time I see her now. Yeah, you gotta stick to your guns. Like, if you aren't inviting kids to the wedding, no kids. Doesn't matter who. Sorry, we're not inviting kids. Sorry, no. You gotta put your foot down because she was gonna find a reason. Like, this is like a problem waiting to happen. She was gonna freak out no matter what it was. I would have preferred it was like before the wedding versus during the wedding. So that's why you just gotta stick to your guns. Tell her no. The time my crazy mother-in-law took show up, shut up, and wear beige, literally. This happened a couple years ago, and we are mostly no contact with everyone involved, thank God. My husband is the middle child out of 3 boys. Mother-in-law claims she doesn't play favorites, but meet the woman for 5 minutes and you can tell which one is her favorite. We will call the bride and groom Bill and Mary, and the favorite son and his wife Tom and Kate. Mary got into a fight with the mother-in-law because she kept picking mother of the groom dresses before the mother of the bride had gotten around to it, and according to some old etiquette, the mother of the bride was supposed to have first dibs. Well, no one tells mother-in-law what to do, so cue a massive tantrum in which she called up Tom and Kate to get involved for who knows what reason. Ooh, she's recruiting family members. That's never good.
With the second pick in the 2025 draft.
Mother-in-law is always reminding us how Kate treats us so much better than her other two daughter-in-laws, despite the fact Kate doesn't have a mom and mother-in-law treats Tom and Kate a whole of a hell of a lot better than us. Mother-in-law wanted to wear green, but the mother of the bride claimed it. There were months of going back and forth, Tom and Bill almost getting physical, mother-in-law sobbing about how we aren't her family, bringing up her divorce to play the victim. It was years ago and she was remarried at this point. And finally, Mary told mother-in-law the age-old show up, shut up, and wear beige. I feel like telling her to wear beige is where you fucked up. I'm just going to start being like, and this is the moment when things went south, because it seems to be a common theme. But also, that's like, I feel like beige is kind of a random, maybe I'm the only one, like, beige is like a weird color to wear. I don't know. Also, like, people getting physical, mother-in-law saying you aren't her family. If you're not her family, I would have been like, then don't come. If it's that much, like, if you're offended that much by the dress color we're asking you to wear, don't come. Because apparently we're not your family. Because we don't want you to wear green. Whatever. Anyway, Mary had forgotten that Kate had gotten married a couple years ago and that mother-in-law is insane and that wedding gowns with a nude underlay are trending right now. Well, Kate had one of those dresses that is meant to look beige see-through and then is covered in bright white lace, so she gave that to mother-in-law to wear to the wedding. Mary threw a fit, but mother-in-law was like, what's the problem? It's beige. Instead of asking mother-in-law to leave, like a normal person, Mary screamed at Kate and made fun of her for growing up in foster care and that she, should have been put down like a dog in a kennel. That's too far. Okay. I was on Mary's side until now. That's horrible. I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. Horrifying. Mary is lucky that Tom didn't hear that, or I think he might have messed up the whole wedding, as he should have. I'm surprised that Kate didn't. That's horrible to say. Anyway, Mary didn't actually do anything but throw a fit, so mother-in-law made it into the group pictures and all through dinner in her wedding gown.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Finally, Mary had enough, and a bridesmaid spilled some wine on the back of the dress while mother-in-law was dancing with her husband. Now, we've all heard of the old wine trick, but I'm not sure what the point was when there was only a few hours left. Mother-in-law turned around with the craziest smile and was like, thank you. I've been dying to change out of this. Mother-in-law left and came back down in the green dress she originally wanted to wear, and the mob, not me saying mob, mother of the bride almost had a stroke. Mother-in-law ended up leaving this monstrosity of a wedding early because Kate was hungry, and we all know mother-in-law's priority in life is her golden son and daughter-in-law. In Kate's defense, the food was bad, pink chicken and dry cake. Mother-in-law went over to say goodbye to the happy couple and hugged Mary, who looked like she had spent her entire wedding obsessing over mother-in-law and Kate and looked fit to be tied. Mother-in-law's husband is the prankster, just want to see the world burn type, so he was like, babe, what did you do to the dress? Come on, you can't do that to the bride. When mother-in-law hugged Mary. Mother-in-law didn't do anything, but Mary spent a good 30 minutes in the bathroom examining her dress. That's diabolical. And also genius. Oh, ruined her wedding. Thankfully, Kate got pregnant about a year later and decided me, my husband, Bill, and Mary can never meet her baby and wanted mother-in-law to pretty much move next door and do everything with her. So mother-in-law pretty much went no contact with her sons and other grandkids so she could raise Kate's golden baby. Listen, I think everyone here is terrible. I was on Bill and Mary's side until she made that little comment. And now I think that you should just throw the whole family away, except for your husband. Everybody else has got to go. Put them on sale, get them out, spring cleaning. Terrible. And why can't, I get, maybe this is a huge no-no, but for me, why can't they both wear green? I don't understand why it's that big of a deal. Maybe that's a huge tradition I'm not aware of. But I just feel like that would have solved everything. And they're not going to wear, the exact same dress. So, I don't know. Maybe that's, a tradition, a huge no-no, though. Imagine this being your mother-in-law. And this is like a quote of something that was sent to the Washington Post. Dear Carolyn, my son is engaged to a woman I don't know very well. He asked whether I wanted to contribute to the wedding. I said no. I paid for a third of his college per our divorce decree and feel adults old enough to be married are old enough to pay for their own weddings. Pause. I feel like traditionally, isn't it that the bride pays for the wedding and then the groom pays for the rehearsal dinner? So like his family pays for the night before and then she pays for the wedding. That's a little outdated, especially in today's day and age. Like Josh and I are both aware that like we're probably gonna be paying for our own wedding. Like we aren't relying on anybody for that, which is how we feel about pretty much anything that we spend money on. And I feel like that's a little bit more of a modern view. Like obviously grateful for anything that anyone feels called to send our way, and that's amazing, incredible, love you so much. I'm like in no way saying, oh yeah, when we get married my parents are totally paying. Like no. I mean, maybe that they're just like asking around, but yeah, I'd love to know where people stand on this, because there's some people who are like very traditional and there's some people who are like, no, we did it ourselves, and there's people in between. So I want to hear what the tea is on that. Anyway, last weekend, his fiance's parents, also divorced, hosted a dinner so all the parents can meet. So the bride's parents, okay. They discussed having a rehearsal dinner, a wedding, and a brunch the following day. Parents are paying for most or all of this. I am bothered by a few things. To start, I thought a wedding was meant to be a few hours, not a few days. I mean, it's whatever the bride and groom want it to be. If they want it to be that long and they have a means to pay for it, why not?
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you.
I also feel my ex's new wife is assuming a role as mother of the groom, calling all the shots for the rehearsal dinner. So the stepmom? Crazy. How if you don't want to be there but you don't want him to have like a mother figure? Okay. It was also clear she socializes with my son's fiance. Her children are in the wedding party, and I overheard some people calling them the groom's brother and sister.
Oh my god!
Gasp. The fiance and her parents have a much warmer relationship with my ex. If they knew his infidelity broke our marriage, I wonder what they would think of him. I mean, he seems like a nice guy now. When it comes down to you being an absolute jerk and him at least being present in his life, it's like tomato, tomato, potato, potato, like, you know what I'm saying? We all do things that suck, and whatever. I do wish the couple all the luck in the world, but I dread the wedding. How do I deal with these unsettling feelings? Sincerely, Bothered. You get over it, because you don't want to be involved, whether it's financially or like in any other matter, being present in their lives physically. You got what you should have expected for that type of behavior. Obviously, like, not being able to pay is one thing, and I don't think that's why, because you literally said it. I only paid for his college because it was part of the divorce decree. Like, sounds like you aren't very present in his life, ma'am. Mother-in-law tried to wear white to my wedding, got shut down, and then decided my wedding was the perfect place to go contact with everyone she knew. I haven't seen this woman in 10 years, but thought I'd share this story because a post on here reminded me of this. My mother-in-law hated me. Typical mother-in-law craziness, or so I thought. My mother-in-law hated me. Typical mother-in-law shenanigans, or so I thought. She was very unhappy about the wedding, and it made her a little crazy. The day of the wedding, she showed up in white lace, looking like a bride. My mother was so sick of her that she lost it, screaming at her. My maid of honor threatened to ruin the dress in various ways. Mother-in-law didn't really seem to care. Her behavior was just odd. Mother-in-law's own mother showed up and told her everyone was going to laugh at her when she got a drink thrown at her. Finally, mother-in-law's fiance came to her defense and called us all jealous and hateful. Oh my god. To her wearing white to someone else's wedding? Insane. He said if I was a prettier bride, no one would pay attention, so obviously I'm just insecure. Girl, what? I ended up in tears because I really didn't want her to wear that dress, and at that point, I was afraid of her. That's crazy. That's insane. I didn't see this part, but I guess her dad's girlfriend took her aside and told her she really didn't have to do this, and she thinks mother-in-law is a better person. She offered to take her home to change. Mother-in-law, I guess, muttered, yeah, I don't have to do this, and left without telling anyone. I would like to know how old mother-in-law is because she sounds really young, but she has to be old enough to have a son who's getting married. So, minimum 40. Everyone is looking for her, but we did the ceremony without her, pictures without her.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
Finally, mother-in-law reappears wearing black and walks across my reception like it was a runway. She came up to the head table and told my husband that she just can't do it anymore. No one is going to win, but I can walk away. He was like, WTF? And mother-in-law literally said she meant what she said and she doesn't want to see us again. Then she told her mother that she would never forgive her and she had laughed at her for the last time. Note, she is talking loud enough that everyone can hear and the reception has just stopped. I would like to know what led to this, because clearly the mother-in-law is crazy and is drinking the crazy juice, but what do you mean laugh for the last time? What happened to make her feel this way about her mother? Like, I need context. Normalize context. Then she effing took off her engagement ring and told her fiancé it was over. He started screaming at her and calling her names. Mother-in-law then said someday she was going to get her white dress and none of us were going to be there. She starts walking off, turned around, and told me I looked like a fat pig.
Oh, hell no!
Absolutely not. Insane. Gotta go, G to G, get her out. I actually started to cry in front of my guests, and some uncle started clapping and was like, what? I thought she was just acting. Come on, this is fake. Yeah, I didn't find it funny. The fiancé is still screaming. The rest of the day was ruined. My poor husband was just so confused, and that was all anyone would talk about. I'm so sorry, bestie. That's horrible. I haven't seen her since. She never met her grandkids. She had another child, so my husband never met his little sister. The only person who still sees her is her dad, who swears she is a completely different person now. And gasp. Nice. But I'm a little salty because I heard her wedding was gorgeous and mine really sucked because she wanted that white dress. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. I hate that for you. I hate that she ruined that for you. I hope that you get to have like a 10-year anniversary or, well, I guess you've already been together 10 years, like a 15-year anniversary like party where you can kind of make up for it, because that's just sad. Like, I hate that for you. Everyone deserves to have their own beautiful, special, amazing day. Future mother-in-law is asking family members not to come to our wedding because my fiance won't forgive her dad for being an, not allowed to say that word, but it starts with an A, creep. Pretty much the title. My fiance had enough of her dad's rude, cruel, and creepy comments earlier this year. We talked with him and asked him to apologize. He said we were making it all up to make him look bad in front of the family. We said we didn't want to drag the family into this, just get him to apologize so my fiance could feel better. Fiance's mom initially agreed with us, but then started lying to us about his behavior, saying he didn't know that what he was doing was wrong, and she no longer remembers some of the things we talked about. Oh, that's my least favorite excuse. I just don't remember. I don't remember that happening. I don't remember. I hate when people say that. What do you mean? This is like my villain origin story and you just simply don't remember? Okay. He dragged the conversation out for 3 weeks before agreeing to apologize. He tried canceling 5 minutes before coming over, so I yelled at them to come over or forget being a part of the wedding. They come over, and instead of apologizing, he argued with my fiance about how he thought nothing he had done was wrong. We suggested he try to work on improving his relationship with her, so he laughed at us and left. Cut to now. It's been 3 weeks since that happened. Fiance's mom is calling family members and just lying to them, saying that we cut fiance's dad out of our lives for no reason. Her siblings are out, grandma and grandpa are out, my fiance is heartbroken that her family is so willing to believe that she'd do that for no reason, and fiance's mom is claiming she's just venting and people are just making their own conclusions. I can't control what they think. Sorry. Love you. So now we have to do a wedding without her family. We thought about talking to people and explaining what happened, but at this point, they've already shown their true colors. Agreed. Everybody knows what her dad is really like, and they know that if they support us, he'll never forgive them and make a big stink of it forever. So they're choosing the easy way out and hoping we'll forgive them. Nope. Cut them out. Cut them out forever. That's insane. This is a moment you hopefully won't ever have again because marriage is forever, and they're choosing not to be a part of it. That's not family, babes. Kick them out. I told my fiance that we only need people at our wedding who will love and support us, and if her family won't do that, then they don't need to be there. This sucks. Family sucks. Luckily, my folks are great, and I'm afraid that's not enough to heal this hurt my fiance is feeling. I agree. Parents are supposed to love and support their kids. They are, and I'm so sorry. There's no easy solution. And I hate that people are siding with such a horrible, awful person who obviously you're saying has done some horrible, horrible, awful things. You're still gonna have a good day. Like, it's still your wedding, so focus on that. And yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. Throw the whole family away, as I say. But that is pretty much it for this week. I hope that you enjoyed these stories or got to, like, let your anger out a little bit like I was. Like, I was just putting anger into that, and it felt good. Just to put my anger into these monster-in-laws who are kind of horrible people. But I love you guys so much. Like I said earlier, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun things. I love you. I upload every single Sunday, and I'll be back next Sunday with a whole new podcast episode. Bye, guys. Love you.